Hi all. Right, back to In Action Kharkov, Soviet Solo, Take 2 Part 24. This is just the beginning of it. This is Sunday morning, lunchtime maybe. And I've had comments from Part 23 as I've just been chucking the videos out there. I've also almost watched them all back myself, so it's good to kind of know I've actually had a comment from Part 23. And it was from Martin, who generally is the one that spots most of the things that maybe some others might not spot, like myself even. And so kind of makes me feel like we're kind of up to date, which is good to know. He has mentioned one thing, which I'd like to. There's a bit of I'm not 100% sure of this one. I think he's right, but I could see it. Yeah, I think it's just me. Well, we'll get to in a minute. Anyway, so nice to know we're up to date and there's not more major things went wrong. That's not to say that they haven't. It's not impossible that Martin has missed something or maybe not watched through everything carefully or whatever. Anyway, so we've got just one card left to play. So one impulse for us, one for them. We activated the 6th Army. Oh yeah, it was a horrible activation, wasn't it? I just looked back on it recently. I just seen it recently, and this guy bugged out, which turned out to look rather fortunate because I started drawing chits before I realised I hadn't drawn a German combat tactic, and then it turns out he pulled back, which looked like a good thing for us because it did look like we were losing a step from this unit, which I need to keep an eye on that. I mean, I'm not sure if you can protect against that or not, because you're always going to have to take the first hit from an armoured unit or a 3-step unit. I mean, yes, you could protect from it, but it just felt like when I looked at it, I thought, oh, it's either going to have to be that guy or that guy. But we kind of got lucky there with drawing that combat tactic after the fact. And then this attack done nothing, did it? We needed D1 and it done nothing. Anyway. Okay, right. Well, couple of comments. Martin did comment on part, I think it was 22 or 21, when I was talking about this issue, about the bit that I was unsure about and asked the question. Tom Castle come back and explained that it was the actual road that leads off or the actual hex side is where you're tracing supply. But I was like, not sure. I was like, well, do I have to trace off this hex side? I mean, can I not go up to here? And that felt right. And Martin confirmed that yes, you don't need to specifically trace off the hex side that's the easiest or the closest. You can look for other hex, well, not just hex, hex sides, roads, whatever, to try and get this relocation to work, and that's how we managed to achieve that one. So all good there, I think. And the one that is brought up that I have a little bit. Well, but you know what? I think sometimes I read these things in a way that I maybe shouldn't. I mean, even me talking about, remember how I could see the wording being that you need to have 2 replacement steps. If it says on the card you need to have 2 replacement steps, well, I had 2 on the map, but one of them wasn't actually eligible, and it maybe didn't word it that way. Although I think I did find was it in the rules there was the word eligible, so I think I was trying to battle away there to get out of something that caused to try and make that mistake not a mistake anymore. But anyway, the one that he's brought up is within action steps 3 and 4, and I checked the rule book just to see if it's worded slightly differently, but it's not, I don't think. 3 and 4, right, I've got the rule book open as well. I think it's exactly the same, to be honest, and it's step 3, yeah. So it's if in danger or surrounding a non-VP hex, move to position hex not in danger or surround. And then it's the preferences. And preference C is I'm just looking to see. No, it's exactly the same in the player aid as what it is in the rulebook. So, preference C, and this is how it's written: if outside unit's army area, closer to area. So, so if you're outside the area, it's wanting you to move closer to the area. And the situation had been, I want to feel like it was in here somewhere, wasn't it? And I can't even remember what. Yeah. Yeah, because the unit must have been in dangerous round, that's right. So, yeah, it was because it was the Rouse unit. Well, actually, this is where he moved to, wasn't it? And he was down, I want to say he was maybe in there. That looks familiar now. So I think he was in there, and that stat came up, preference stat came up, C, if outside unit's army area. Now he is, because he's in the army detachment Kempf, which is along there. So he's outside his area, and the two possible options that were going to move him to a hex not in dangerous round were here and here, I want to say, maybe? I think it was here and here. And I decided that the wording in that said to me that if outside army area, move closer to the area. And my thinking was, well, this is further away than what he is, and this is further away than what he is. So I discounted that. And Martin feels like, and I'm pretty sure he's right, that it would still want you to be closer to the area, you know? So he is actually saying there that, I mean, it turns out that's the hex he moved to. He says, I know it doesn't matter, but he has brought it up, and I will take this on board, and I do believe he's right, and I'll play it this way from now on. Whether that's one of the little ones that could maybe be stored away for just to, you know, I mean, it might be that it's not. That, I mean, surely it is. It makes sense as well, doesn't it? It makes sense. He's here, and he can either move here, much further away from his army area, or he can move here, further away from his army area. And I know, and my reading of it is he needs to be closer. So you just discount both of them. That's how I've seen it. But Martin still believes that he should still be looking closer. Which makes sense. It does. It does make sense. Pretty sure he's got it right. But the way it's worded, and I think that's sometimes where I just, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you say, look, read the rules. They're whatever they say, literally. I mean, that does literally say, if outside units army area, which he is, right? Move. It doesn't say the word move there. It says closer to area, but this is what it's trying to do. So it's outside the army area, move closer to the area. Well, I think I counted these 10 hexes away there. He's 12 there and he's 13 there or something. So that is not moving closer, and that is not moving closer. I guess that's the way I read that and took it. But anyway, okay. But I will play it that way, the way he suggested, because it makes more sense. I replied to him, I'm sure that is the intent, and maybe one day we'll get something that says for sure, maybe some clarification. Okay, right, let's me finish this turn then. So we decided to hold back on this 40th Army card and not play the artillery. Yeah, I remember it now. Not play the artillery in this combat, and then the two of the three chits we drew were artillery chits. In fact, the first one was an A-1 though, and I was like, well, that wouldn't have done me any good. But the second artillery chit was a D1, so that unit actually would have been eliminated if we'd played this. The Germans wouldn't be getting another impulse. We'd be moving up. We'd be starting turn 4 right now. However, we chose to maybe be greedy and take a chance and all that nonsense. Right, so I'm going to activate. We can't do any of the events. We're not there. Activate any one unit. Oh, that was maybe something. I had talked about moving this guy, and we knew he was proximate to here to grab that other VP, and I thought about using the any one unit move to do that, and then I says, but it just leaves this hex empty. But it's not that reserves could deploy in that hex. I mean, we control that hex now. However, This unit is proximate to it, so there's a possibility. I don't know. I mean, he's in a VP hex. Are we proximate to it? Maybe not, because the garrison. I think that's why that garrison's there actually. So it might not have been taking as big a risk as I thought. I'm thinking I'm leaving it empty, but we do control it. I think initially I thought, oh well, our reserve could maybe deploy in there. Well, it couldn't while we've got control of it, but a unit could still indeed move into it. So I think I'll just leave the situation as it is for now, though. So once we move into the next turn, and we get the chance to activate third tank, then there's nothing really aggressive that they're going to start doing, unless some of these reserves do come about, admittedly, and they might look at them. Which, yeah, to be honest, yeah, because they're going to deploy again, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, they've got another 3 one-step units that have come back for the eliminated unit box, and they're 2 second SS and 1 48th Panzer, so they could all deploy in this area. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I've not studied it completely, but I do think that they will deploy in the reserve phase. Now, I know we can't do that because we need to have, the units need to have just been in, 2 turns before the turn that you're on. But I think they just get to bring them out, but we will be double checking that for sure. Okay, so, and I think I'll just move these guys just up into this area here, I think, because like I've just said, it does look like there's going to be 3 units that might deploy in here, so we're going to, and then they get a load of reserves coming on next turn as well, and the majority of them, well, the 3rd Corps units, there's a big stack of them, but the majority of the stuff is 4th Panzer Army stuff, I would say. Well, 3 sets, there's 8 units from the 4th Panzer Army, and looks like there's maybe 5 or 6. I think it's maybe actually just 5 right enough. So there is, the majority is going to be 4th Panzer Army. So just get these guys moved up here, so let me have a look. Right, okay, so just double checking the strategic movement bonus there again. So infantry just get 2 extra movement points, so I mean it's 5 infantry units we've got and just a 1 mechanised unit. Now the mechanised unit only costs him half a movement if he's moving along a road. So at the moment, to get on this road, it costs him 1, 2 to get into there, and then it'd be 3, 4, 5, 6. So you could get up to about there. Which maybe we should just do. I think the infantry's, yeah. So let's see this infantry, and I think I'd just move it up here. I did wonder about bringing them up this road, because we do have these 3 German units up there, and then we do have this guy in here still, but I'm not sure. I think, well, yeah, we do need to be concerned with this town, don't we? I don't suppose that unit can reach that town, could he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I could actually. It's just that, I mean, I'm waiting on these infantry units moving up into there, but they made such a poor attempt at taking that guy out that they're going to have to do that first before they move on. And when I activate 3rd tank again, I probably want to get that guy moving. So maybe that's not the worst idea, just to put that guy. I think I might do that. Let's just see. So what I said was 1, 2, 3, and then he's on the road. He can strategically move half a point, 4, half a point, 5, and then, well, only half a point, but just stop there. Does that not mean I'd be better bringing the infantry up that way as well, man? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he could go, and then the other guys are probably just going to be in behind. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the guys are going to be in behind, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's just going to have a line of them there, aren't we? I don't know, it feels a bit daft splitting them up, but on saying that, I might have well wanted to put one of the infantry units in this town anyway. Maybe not so fussed about this, but maybe into that one, you know. Yeah, I think it's alright still to bring them up here. I mean, he's mechanised, he can make a dash for it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then these all 4s, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then these guys join. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, right, okay. Can't quite. Maybe just bring them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, although, because it is going to be 2 for him to move into here, but if he's back here, then it's 1, 2 to get into there, so keeps them together. Also slightly closer to the armoured unit, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, he could go up there. And then just tag this guy along as well, I think. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. I don't really know. I think we need to see where these reserves are going to come in, and once that starts happening, we're going to start seeing what it is we're going to do. We're sitting at, what is it, 17 victory points now. That was another thing I was thinking the other day, and it was only through comments I had read and the rule book actually. I think, and I may have spoke about this before, but 21 victory points, I'm pretty sure, is a number that you want to try and reach. And I think that's because, I might just have a quick look at this in the rules, but here's my thinking and my belief on it. If we have 21 victory points, and I think this doesn't kick in till, again, I'll check this. Maybe what I say, turn 5, it might be later. When we need to then be in Soviet support. Now, we don't need to be in Soviet support, but bad things happen if you're not. So if we don't have a certain amount of victory points, then the artillery barrage zone is our support zone. That's as far as it stretches. Now, you can place Soviet, no got it in there. It must be in the tray somewhere, I'll find them later. You can place Soviet, is it on the back of, no it's not. Anyway, you can place Soviet support markers or forward support markers or something, and you can stretch them out from wherever the support is or something like that. However, if you have the number of victory points I want to say is 21 or greater, it might not be that number, then the Soviet support line goes right out to this dotted line. So you can see that that's what you want to be, because we're not down here anymore. We don't want to be here. We want to be in this area, really. Certainly at the moment, whether we need to fall back when the Germans really come onto us, then maybe so. And then maybe this line stretching out with support markers might be okay. But let's just have a quick look at that while we're talking about it then. Yeah, so there's talk, Soviet support, page 39, 14.5. It is from 5 plus, so I was right. All hexes are in Soviet support throughout game turns 1 to 4. So yeah, we do need to start thinking about that, because we're just about to move on to turn 4. So beginning on game turn 5, hexes are in Soviet support or outside Soviet support. A hex must be in Soviet support in order for Soviet units in the hex to operate at full effectiveness. Soviet support is independent of supply state. So determine the support. A hex is in Soviet support if in the Soviet support zone valid on the current game turn, or within 5 hexes of a hex occupied by a Soviet forward support marker. The 5 hex range is traced through any terrain regardless of the presence of German units. Okay, well, I didn't quite realise that. So it's got to be within 5 hexes. So that does let them stretch, because I think the support marker can be placed further. If this is our support line, I don't know. I need to look into how you place them, but I want to say they can be moved out so far, and then you've got a 5 hex radius from them. So then it discusses the support lines, western and eastern. The Soviet support zone consists of all hexes to the east of the current Soviet support line. Yeah, that's right. There are 2 Soviet support lines marked on the map, the western line and the eastern line. Note that the eastern support line is also the Soviet artillery line, like I said. So the eastern Soviet support line is just the artillery line. I like to say east of that is just in this area here, where in actual fact at the moment we've got no unit. Well, we've got this unit, this stack of units here, and maybe these here that are dispersed over there. We've got no other units in there, so they're not going to be fully effective if that happens to be our support line. That's why we're trying to achieve the other one. So between turns 5 and 7, the western support line is in effect throughout game turns 5 to 7 and throughout any turn thereafter in which the Soviet player starts the turn with at least 21 victory points. So, and that's important to note, that starts the turn. So we could have 21 at the start of the turn and then drop to 20, but it wouldn't matter. We've started the turn, and that's going to be in play. I mean, that would be my understanding how that worked. And then it tells you the bad things, but I'm not going into that yet. I just wanted to point out that where the lines were, and I mean, pointing this out for myself, by the way. But obviously I might as well speak about it and let anybody know if they don't know how it works. So 21 points, so there you go. We want to try and achieve another 4 points by the end of the next turn. So that's not going to be that easy. Starts making me think that going up there and grabbing that just now would have been a thing. No, I'm not going to reverse this. I'm going to let this go. What I will say is, it's more than likely that my next third tank activation, something's going to go and protect that. He's going to go and get that. That give us that extra victory point. Now we do need to look for. That would take us to 18. So you can see we're wanting 4. So we would need 3. I spoke about this hex being a possible target. We do have these ones that need to be in supply. So there's not much of a force down here. Admittedly, there's a bunch of 3rd Corps units going in the reserve box, so they might be wanting to come down here. But if we can grab them, and just to temporarily get to that 21, so that we can benefit from the Soviet support line being the western line rather than the eastern line. Okay, so we know what we want to try and do. So I think that's a big thing to keep in mind, though. Right, so we're just going with that, the 40th Army, yeah. And we'll just find out where the Germans actually come in. So that's 40th Army activated. We moved everybody. Yeah, nothing really exciting happening. So, right, we'll get the German impulse going, and then we'll finish this turn, and that should clear up another part to put out there and get ready for turn 4. Right, let's get the final German impulse of the turn. Hopefully just this last card, maybe. Right, here we go. 2nd SS. Okay, we've got 2 units on the map. We do have 2 units in the reserves, though. So they might be coming in sooner than we think. So deploy all 2nd SS Panzer Corps reserves, and then from 2 onwards, if at least 2 units eligible. Now, remember also, and I maybe glossed over that bit when I was trying to... It's when I deployed these 2 units here in this city and got that right. That looked like one that I could have missed that, but got it right. Not only with the first deployment, but also the second one, the fact that it would go in a city if there's only one step. So I was quite happy that that all went to plan, or went as it should be, should I say. And certainly nobody's picked up on any problem with it. But I think while I was concentrating on trying to do it, whenever you deploy in reserves, and that says 2 units eligible, you could have 2 units eligible in the reserve units box, and then deploy one of them. Go through all the procedure and say, right, I can deploy that one, and then realise that you can't actually deploy the other unit, and maybe get carried away and think, well, I've deployed one of them, that's fine. Well, that's not fine. We need to be able to deploy them both. And I'm pretty sure that is right. I mean, if this didn't have any restriction, if it just said deploy all 2nd SS Panzer Corps reserves, and we had 2, and we could only deploy 1 after, we had 2 reserves eligible, but we could only deploy 1, that would be fine. But because that says 2 eligible, now just while I'm rabbiting on there, I just maybe want to just double check that. Yeah, and it makes it clearer in the rules. So page 15, Rule 9, German Reserves, 9.1, talks about a core Bullet 2's core card, which is what we've got here. Deploy all reserve units in the core listed on the card, and then starting on game turn 2, some core deployment commands are conducted only if at least 2 units can be deployed, as noted on the card. So it says 2 units eligible there. It doesn't mention the word deploy, but in the rules it says they've got to actually be deployed. So if I can't do that, then we move on to the next command. Right, okay, good. Well, let's see if... well, it's quite possible, I think. We've certainly got units up there that are... we're looking in that area there somewhere, so... Right, let's get them down and have a look. So these are our 2 units. 2 units that we've destroyed once before. Well, I know it's not meant to be the exact same guys coming back, but yeah. Yeah, like I say, I've realised that you're going to see quite a bit of this throughout the game. So reserve deployment, we're still on just method A check. That'll change up next turn as well. We'll be looking at method B as well as method A. So right, so unit position X. Yeah. Okay, I think we're going to have a... well, mind you, that is garrison. Does that matter? No. I think we're going to have some city stuff again. Well, it does need to look at the... I mean, this time we're in the Reserve Units Army, we're 4th Panzer Army. I'll just move that card outside the area and we'll have a bigger look at things. But because we're on turns 3 and 4, the whole Soviet unit being proximate to position hex has an additional part of, on turns 3 and 4, hex is German city. Remember, we also disregard garrisons while we're checking for this. But just going down to the preferences, just jumping down to the preferences, because I think that will then help us decide here. The very first preference is a VP hex with the lowest position number. And the reason I say that is because this is a city and it's got position number 6. And these 2 across here, that's position number 9 is a city, and that's position number 2 is a city. So they are 3 cities in the army zone. So straight away, I think we're going to deploy the first one here and the second one here. That's my thinking, but I just want to go through the steps and make sure. And it does say Hex is empty or garrisoned, or a city occupied. Ooh. Well, there you go, Grant. I think that might mean they both go in there then. So a Hex is empty or garrisoned, or a city Hex occupied by only one German step. So I'm maybe looking at the cities here. So yes, they're garrisoned. They're in the army area. They're not in the Soviet artillery barrage. German reserve supply would be traced. Soviet unit proximate to the Hex, no, but on turns 3 and 4, Hex is a German city. Yes, disregard garrisons when checking. So we're still looking at that. Unit would not be in danger surrounding the place in Hex. No, there's nothing anywhere near him. And in fact, he's going in a German city anyway, which would disregard that. Hex is not Soviet town or city. Not adjacent to a German unit unless. And then, like I say, among qualifying position hexes, prefer a VP hex with the lowest position number. So, it feels a little strange doing this, but I mean, I got it right the last time, so I'm pretty sure it is. So we take, and they go in ascending order, so we've got 17. So, and that's the lowest position numbered city. I'm not going to try that one. I tried it earlier on, didn't I? That's one of the ones that you can't vacate and leave empty. So that's deployed one of the units, and I kind of, like I just said, I thought maybe the next one would go into the next lowest position city, but this hex is not now garrisoned or empty, but it is occupied. It is a city occupied by one German step. So that is a target, and it's a city. And then we look at our preferences again, and it's the VP hex with the lowest position number. So again, it's that city. So I think they both go in there then. Yeah, because I remember when I'd done it over there, and I thought, I've made a mistake, because I put the first unit in, and then I put the next one in because it was only one step, but I thought, does it not need to be empty? But no, that's what that says. Hex is empty, or if it was a town, if it was this town here, and you had one step in it, or whatever, you wouldn't then deploy a unit in it, because it doesn't meet the hex is empty or garrisoned, and it doesn't meet the or is a city. But it's the or as city hex occupied by only one German step, which that one was at the time, and this one was here. So, okay, nice and simple, quick, and short episode. Well, we can finish the turn though. Yeah, that's it. Their impulse done. So hopefully it was right. Now that means they've not moved closer to us, but they're still building back there. I just realised that the next, as long as we're still in turn 3 and 4, there's 2 more cities that are going to take some units and reserves, because it's going to boil down to the priority. Right, hang on, Grant. The only other thing could have been, but you're not telling me that's got a position hex number 2. My guess is Kharkov's number 1. It is. So if a town had been around here and we were proximate to it, we would have been considering that. However, it's VP hex with lowest position number, so which makes more sense. It's why I protect the cities before the towns. Right, okay. So I think that's it done. And how many cards did we have left then? 7 or something? 3, 4, 5, no, only 6. So we had 4 in the first turn, 5 in the second turn, and 6 in the third turn. So we're getting slightly better, I guess. Okay, right, hopefully that was done properly and we're all good. Right, well, let's just move into the end of the turn then. So yeah, we had no cards left, so the Germans get 1 more impulse. They've had their impulse. From turn 4, we check for victory or defeat. So next turn at this stage, we're going to be looking at the victory point numbers. Remember, we need at least 12. We're sitting at 17, so shouldn't be a problem there. But remember also that my target's going to be to try and get to 21. Return all combat chits to the cup. We must have refreshed again. I think that whole turn there was not an awful lot. We seem to draw the refresh chits quite a lot. Remove all dispersed and from 5 turn onwards forward support markers. Right, so we do have some dispersed units. Yeah, we never got to go and have a go at that guy again. Yeah, we're looking for maybe pop-off to activate again. We get back our guards units. And then, is there anything else? Yeah, we've got, oops, it's alright. Glare, get rid of the glare. We've got these useless kind of 69th Army guys who couldn't even take that little guy out. And I remember commenting that, I put them in the wrong bit, hang on. I remember commenting that I had, this guy must have built his IP after we had attacked, thinking that I took the IP, he would have had an IP removed, if surely. That wasn't the case. We'd done absolutely nothing to him, I think. As you probably noticed. Right, so that's it. That's all dispersal. Now there is garrisons to be looked at now. Where are we? Remove German garrisons, unable to trace reserve supply. We've not got many garrisons. Well, we've got quite a few up there still, but they're fine. There's just the ones round about us here. Whether I looked at them last time or not, or any time, you realise that they're clearly not got any issues. This guy is not in any problems. Just got to remember he can't. Well, he can go off the south or the west map edge, so he gets onto this road, and yeah, he's fine. This guy here is actually on a supply head road that can trace reserve supply, and the other one's up here. Now remember, he can't go off this side, so he's got to go. Now he can't trace down here either, so he does have to make a bit of a move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then he's on the road that can take him off. So no issues there, as we kind of expected. And we got rid of the one that was in here. There was one sitting in here which might have been in trouble now, but it's gone now, so that's fine. Turn 6 to 12. We're not there yet, but just to let you know, we would reveal a ground condition marker for the next game turn. So this is an interesting thing that will kick in once, well, assuming we get there. Advance game turn marker to next calendar space, start new game turn. So again, we didn't use the or activate any one unit. That's us now moving on to game turn 4. So that was nice and quick actually. Not even 40 minutes. So I might as well just put this together at that and have a wee short episode, and yeah, the quicker I do that, I should be able to get started onto turn 4. Now there's a lot of things I think are going to change up in turn 4, so I need to keep my eyes open for them. We know we've got a victory point check at the end. Keep the number 12 in your head, Grant, but ideally I'm looking for the number 21. That's where we want to try and be. Okay, I'll be back with the start of turn. That'll be take 2 part 25, I think. So I'll be back shortly, guys. Cheers.